Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Amtrak Vacations webinar. Today, we're going to be looking at overnight rail journeys across the United States and really highlighting some of the Amtrak Vacations itineraries that enable you to experience the really unique um, travel experience of going across the United States, traveling by rail and seeing the incredible scenery along the way. My name's Chris David. I'm going to be your host for today's webinar, which should run about 20 to 25 minutes in duration. To kick things off, let's take a quick look at what we're going to be covering in today's presentation. First off, as we usually do with our Amtrak Vacations webinars, I'm going to give you a little bit of preliminary information about us, our company, who we are, what we're all about, and how we can help you to put together a fantastic experience traveling domestically in the United States by rail and into some of the wonderful national park and city destinations around the country. A big part of what we do at Amtrak Vacations as well is enable you to customize the experience. We've got many packages, as you may know, that you may have explored on our website, but bear in mind, all of those can be customized. We can help you to commence your vacation right in your hometown, meaning that you don't need a fly, and you can go straight from your home to the rail station and get going with your package exploring some of the wonderful areas of the lower 48 U.S. states. I'd like to give you a quick introduction before we go deeper into the presentation to us and our company, who we are. We're called the Yankee Leisure Group, and we are a tour operator specializing in rail travel around the world. We have two brands in the marketplace, Amtrak Vacations, that you may be very familiar with, and Rail Bookers. Amtrak Vacations is the official tour operator for Amtrak. We work very closely hand in hand with Amtrak, operating leisure trips, vacation packages into the U.S. national parks and other highlight city getaway destinations throughout the lower 48 U.S. states. Rail Bookers is our international brand, also allowing you to experience wonderful destinations in other parts of the world traveling by rail. The Rail Bookers portfolio of vacations includes Europe and Canada and Alaska, and very interestingly, luxury and specialty trains as well. In fact, we've got an entire e-brochure dedicated with Rail Bookers to luxury rail. So if you're looking for something really unique and bucket list for your next trip, traveling outside the United States, check out the luxury rail collection with Rail Bookers on trains like the Orient Express and the Royal Scotsman and the Golden Eagle Trans-Siberian and the Blue Train and many others. One of the really unique features with Amtrak Vacations and Rail Bookers is the ability to book trains well in advance. Typically with rail travel, you only get to ticket your rail portion of your vacation when it becomes available within the rail operator system. In the case of Amtrak, that's about 11 months. With European operators, it can be only 60 or 90 days before departure that you can actually get rail tickets. And with our company, Amtrak Vacations and Rail Bookers, whether it be in the US, Canada, or anywhere in Europe, you have this very unique ability to be able to do it all and put it to bed well in advance, 2 years out, also locking in the best rates because you're booking at today's rates for that experience 2 years in the future. And we predict with travel there's going to be pent-up demand that's going to cause prices to really skyrocket over the next couple of years. So a great opportunity both for convenience and for the best possible rate. Thousands of travelers in the U.S. and other destinations where we have offices, which, by the way, with Amtrak Vacations is Canada, Australia, and the UK, have entrusted us with their planning for their independent trip traveling by rail. And here are some of the ways I think that we can really make this easy for you. First off, we're a specialist tour operator when it comes to trains, and we can advise you or your travel agent. We always recommend that you work with a travel agent. We can provide that expert in-depth advice on the schedules and the timetables and the routes, which is hard to find. Even travel agents can't be an expert with every type of travel, and this is our unique area of specialty. We have that ability to book well in advance that I mentioned, 2 years out. a lot of flexibility with our packages. You can literally add a rail journey into any destination because we can book the trains anywhere they go. And this huge and very varied selection of product ranging from the specialty and luxury trains, the Rocky Mountaineer trains, the Orient Express, as well as the entire Amtrak network and the high-speed trains throughout Europe. So when it comes to rail travel, what's complicated for other companies is really easy for us at Amtrak Vacations and Rail Bookers because it's our unique area of specialty. It's what we do. Our trips are all customizable as well. So you can add extra nights in any of the destinations, add in additional destinations. When you see an Amtrak Vacations package on the website, bear in mind it's not an escorted tour and it's not a group going on a set departure date. These are all for independent travel, tailor-made for you and your party. So any aspect of it can be customized, adding specialized experiences, choosing the hotels on each night between 3, 4, and 5-star options, and adding additional destinations if you so wish. When it comes to rail travel, packing really is not a problem whatsoever. You get to take 2 large bags. You can check your bags on the platform with Amtrak 45 minutes prior to departure, and you get a red cap attendant at the station to help you on and off the train with your bags. The rail network throughout the US is very, very extensive with Amtrak. If Amtrak was an airline, we're the 6th largest in the US, with 500 stations throughout the country, going to 46 out of the 48 states in the lower 48, excluding only, I believe, South Dakota and Wyoming. So wherever else you may wish to go. And when you see our packages, bear in mind that you can choose to start and or end your vacation in any one of those 500 stations on the Amtrak network. Let's take a look at some of the most popular and spectacular packages featuring overnight rail travel with Amtrak Vacations. Starting with the California Zephyr, which is the very scenic and spectacular train. It's the Amtrak Superliner train that runs from Chicago over to San Francisco through the beautiful scenery of the Colorado Rockies, literally winding in and out of the mountains as you go. So this is a great opportunity for those of you who are rail enthusiasts and really enjoy that experience of being on board the train. Overnight rail travel is such an adventure. Enjoying your meals in the dining car, spending time in the observation car, really taking your time to appreciate and enjoy the scenery of the country as you go across it. This trip would include 2 nights on board with the California Zephyr, as well as 2 nights each in Chicago and San Francisco. Wonderful destinations in their own right, with lots of sightseeing included on both ends. Chicago, you'll go up the Willis Tower, you'll have the architecture cruise. In San Francisco, the hop-on, hop-off city pass that gives you a chance to explore all the best-known tourism highlights and most popular neighborhoods. And there you see the environment on board the California Zephyr in the observation car. Just such a wonderful vantage point to take in the sights and scenery of the country, as domestic travel so popular at the moment with complications, traveling overseas because of COVID. So many people are really connecting with this idea of exploring all the treasures right here in our own backyard in North America. The Northern Rail experience, the next of our itineraries that I want to share that really kind of provides a wonderful opportunity to travel overnight on board Amtrak. This itinerary includes 3 of Amtrak's most popular scenic train journeys, which are the Empire Builder, the California Zephyr, and the Coast Starlight. The Empire Builder is a wonderful train that goes from Chicago over to Seattle through the magnificent scenery of the Northern Rockies. The Coast Starlight really needs no introduction or explanation in terms of how beautiful and scenic that journey is, going down the coast in the Pacific Northwest, and then returning from San Francisco to Chicago on the California Zephyr through that beautiful stretch of scenery going through Utah and Colorado. And here again, you've got lots of great sightseeing included in the trip in San Francisco, Seattle, and Chicago. One of the great things about Amtrak vacations is you can choose your hotel accommodation on every night of the trip. In Chicago, we've got lots of options, including two of the city's most historic and iconic hotels, the Drake and the Palmer House Hilton. So, what better way to enjoy a few nights exploring Chicago than to stay in this amazing historic property, the Drake, just on the Magnificent Mile. In Seattle, you'll have an overnight on this trip. We include the hop-on, hop-off pass, which gives you access and free admission to so many of the city's wonderful attractions, including one of my favorites, the Dale Chihuly Garden and Glass exhibit. And in San Fran, you've got lots of included sightseeing there, a trip to Muir Woods to see the amazing redwoods, a San Francisco Bay cruise, as well as the hop-on, hop-off pass that gets you around to all the attractions. Rails to the Grand Canyon. This is an overnight rail journey from Los Angeles into the Grand Canyon. Fantastic to include with an additional rail segment from really anywhere into the country, anywhere in the country, connecting with either LA or Williams, Arizona, to explore and experience the Grand Canyon. Williams, Arizona is on the Southwest Chief Line, which goes all the way through to Chicago. So again, you can travel from the Midwest into the Grand Canyon via that route. This trip has an overnight journey from LA up to the Grand Canyon and back. So again, a chance to experience the magic, the adventure of being on an overnight train, as well as going up through the red rock scenery of Southern California and Arizona into the Grand Canyon. You start in LA. We don't include any accommodation in LA, but that can be added, as is the case with all of our packages. We can build on several nights in Los Angeles with the sightseeing prior to heading up into the Grand Canyon. When you're in the Grand Canyon, you're staying in the historic village at the South Rim. We've got lots of different accommodation options. And the cool thing to remember with Amtrak vacations is that we have accommodation that we hold in those famous lodges like the El Tovar right on the South Rim. So we can always find a place for you, even at busy times where it might be difficult to get accommodation. We have rooms that are, that we hold specifically for our guests going in on the rail journeys. The Pacific Rail experience is another train adventure, giving you 4 nights on board, taking in both San Francisco and Los Angeles, traveling on the California Zephyr and Southwest Chief trains, again with that portion down the coast, this time from San Fran to Los Angeles, on the showing you the highlights of the California coast, the Coast Starlight train. Again, all of these journeys, many of Amtrak's Superliner trains, these wonderful overnight trains that cross the country going westwards, start in Chicago, which is a hub for Amtrak. And many of our packages will be put together starting from Chicago without necessarily having hotel nights or sightseeing in Chicago. But once again, that can be added in. That's something that you wish to do, spend a few nights exploring Chicago, seeing the wonderful attractions there, the incredible art museum, Millennium Park with its iconic artworks, as well as the architecture cruise and the admission to the skydeck at the Willis Tower. In Los Angeles, we have overnight accommodation included as part of this itinerary. And when you look at these itineraries and you see an overnight, the cost of the trip naturally includes that overnight hotel accommodation. We have sightseeing in Los Angeles as well, going around to all the most popular tourism attractions in Los Angeles, as well as San Francisco, where you've got your city pass that will take you to the highlight attractions and popular neighborhoods. Now, the Grand Rail experience is the last of the itineraries that I'm going to share in today's presentation, which really is a full Monty package that can allow you to circumnavigate the United States, explore, spending time in 4 of the most popular, iconic city destinations: DC, Seattle, Los Angeles, and New Orleans, as well as stopping in Chicago. And you're traveling on the Empire Builder train, the Coast Starlight, and then going across the South on Amtrak and back from New Orleans to Washington, D.C. on the Crescent train, with all kinds of wonderful experiences included in the destinations as you're going through this itinerary. The Monuments by Moonlight tour in Washington, D.C., the hop-on, hop-off in San Francisco, which will give you access to Golden Gate Park and Pier 39, and you have the Bay Cruise included there as well. In Seattle, you'll have free time to explore, go to Pike Place Market, drink a cappuccino in the very first Starbucks. But you'll also have the included sightseeing pass that can get you in to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden and Glass exhibit as well. In New Orleans, you'll have time to explore the city with the New Orleans City Pass that includes several options. The Bayou experience, as well as a cruise on the paddle steamer on the Mississippi River. And in DC, there's that included Monuments by Moonlight tour, which is just a wonderful way to explore the presidential monuments with very, very knowledgeable and entertaining guides that are taking you around when when everything's lit up and illuminated, which is just a magical way to explore and experience DC. And in Chicago, again, you get to go up to the sky deck of what was once the tallest building in the world, once upon a time known as Sears Tower, now the Willis Tower. A little bit about life on board Amtrak. There are several levels of accommodation available when you're traveling on the Superliner trains. There is economy seating where you're sitting at a seat. It's a very comfy seat, by the way. However, if you're on an overnight train, we recommend to everybody to upgrade to some form of sleeping accommodation, because in economy, you'd be sleeping in a seat. Also, you don't have any meals included in economy. Those must be purchased from the cafe car, whereas if you're in a roomette or a sleeper, which is the sleeping compartments on Amtrak, all your 3 meals per day are included. You also get priority separate boarding as an additional perk when you're in a sleeper compartment. There you see the coach seating. It is very comfortable with power outlets at the seat. But again, if it's a long overnight journey, really makes sense to upgrade to one of the Amtrak sleepers, a roomette, or a bedroom. Total privacy, a huge benefit there. You get to slide that door closed. If there are concerns about COVID, naturally masks can be removed in the privacy of the roomette or sleeper. You also have a cabin attendant, dedicated attendant looking after you throughout your journey with a tea and coffee service. You get an amenity pack with your toiletries. And with that privacy, there are also additional little perks, such as being able to bring your own alcoholic beverages on board, which can be enjoyed in the privacy of your roomette. Food service on Amtrak is fantastic, and you have the benefit of room service if you so choose. You can have your meals, or you order from the menu. They're prepared in the kitchen and served to you in the privacy of your roomette if you choose not to dine in the dining car. Roomette, by the way, is the smallest of the sleeping accommodations. It's very comfortable, cozy compartment with 2 large seats that convert into bunk beds overnight. No washroom facilities in the compartment. Those are private but shared down the hall at the end of the rail car. And if you want additional privacy, you can upgrade to a bedroom where you've got a full washroom with vanity toilet and shower right there in the privacy of your own compartment. Those can also be en-suited by removing the partition between 2 bedrooms, so you can actually have a cabin suite with 4 beds and 2 washrooms, ideal for families traveling together. Wheelchair accessible bedrooms are available on Amtrak, though they are quite limited. So if that's something that you may need for your party, do inquire well in advance. Amtrak has great everyday discounts for children, seniors, and military, and naturally, we would apply those to the rail portion of any Amtrak vacations package. Folks, that brings me to the end of today's webinar about overnight rail journeys with Amtrak through the U.S. I hope you found this useful and informative, perhaps got some ideas for an upcoming trip. We always recommend that you speak with a travel agent if you are thinking of doing, a journey traveling by rail. They have so much knowledge, and really, that's the best way to put a trip together. We are also happy to work with you directly, and you can call us at the number on the screen. We're open 9 a.m. to 7 Eastern Time, Monday to Friday. Once again, thanks everybody. This is a pre-recorded webinar, so we don't have live questions, but if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to call your travel agent or one of our knowledgeable rail experts. Once again, thanks again for your time and attention, and hope to see you on an upcoming webinar or one of our rail journeys. Stay safe out there, take good care, and bye for now.